So this morning, judges will hear a school worker's appeal against her dismissal after she claimed that she was sacked because of her Christian beliefs. Kristie Higgs was dismissed for gross misconduct by Farmers School in Fairford in 2019. She shared Facebook posts criticising plans to teach LGBT plus relationships in primary schools, including the school that her children went to. There are protests outside the Royal Courts of Justice this morning. Those people believe they are fighting for the right to protect free speech, specifically for Christians. And she delivered this message outside of the courts a little earlier this morning.
In October 2018, I shared 2 private Facebook posts to raise awareness of the gender ideology that was going to be taught to young children in schools. Because of those posts, I lost my job. This week, the Court of Appeal has the chance to put that right.
It's a fascinating story that contains so many issues which are important, I think, to the UK in 2024. Adam Cherry, our reporter, is there for us this morning. Bring us up to speed, Adam.
Yeah, good morning, guys. We are outside the Royal Court of Justice. The hearing will begin at 10:30. Now, I'm joined here today by Andrea Williams, who is the Chief Executive of the Christian Legal team. So can you just explain to us why we're here and what this means for the community?
Well, it's the case of Kristie Higgs today, and she 5 years ago was concerned about the relationships and sex education that was being taught in her son's primary schools, and she shared concerns about that because it was going to become mandatory on her friend's Facebook account. An anonymous friend reported that Facebook post to her employer in the school where she worked, a secondary school where she worked as a pastoral assistant, saying that she was homophobic and transphobic. We don't know who that friend was. That the complainant has forever been anonymous, but as a result of that, she was suspended from her work as a pastoral assistant, then dismissed for gross misconduct. She was labelled transphobic and homophobic simply for sharing concerns about relationships and sex education, which at that time, this particular book that she was concerned about was promoting a very strong trans ideology. And she was compared in the process to being a neo-Nazi. She has since been unable to return to her job there. We went to the Employment Tribunal where they upheld the sacking, and then the Employment Appeal Tribunal where they said that Kristie had in fact been discriminated against, directly discriminated against, because of her Christian faith, because she'd done this because it really arose out of her concern for children. And they said they agreed that she had been discriminated against, but they then said we had to start again and go back to the very same employment tribunal that had decided against her in the first place. So today we're here really to say that we, people, should be free to share Facebook posts, should be free to discuss, free to speak, free to express Christian faith.
Now, Kristie's case isn't the only one here today. I mean, in the court, of course it is,
yes.
But she's not the only person representing their story here. So there are others. Can you just talk about some of the other people and their experiences?
Yes. I think that to just put this in perspective, when I qualified as a lawyer in 1988, if you'd said to me at that time that we would represent, and I would stand outside the Royal Courts of Justice at the beginning of October 2024 with a chaplain who had lost his job as a school chaplain for preaching a biblical sermon, I'd have said you couldn't make it up. If you had said to me I would stand with a doctor outside the court today who, because he wouldn't put on a medical form the trans identity, he wanted to put the biological sex of a person on a medical form, and that he would lose his job for that, I'd have said impossible. If you said to me that today I would be in front of the Royal Courts of Justice with a teacher who lost their job for mistakenly misgendering, or he was accused of misgendering a girl who was identifying as a boy and lost his job, I'd say these things were impossible.